from
Yeah.
Lisa Leslie, man, saying that the WNBA told her not to make a big fuss out of the Brittany Griner detainment. What you think about that comment? I'm hearing other WNBA players was told to kind of be silent when it comes to this matter. Brittany's facing 5 years in a labor camp. This is not even a regular jail in Russia. She's facing 5 years in a labor type of jail. So this is a big deal. What you think about Lisa Leslie saying the WNBA told her to keep it quiet?
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Like, who thought that Brittany Griner having vape cartridges would land her where she's at, you know? And a lot of the players spoke on saying they travel and sometimes they get stuff in wherever they play at, or they leave stuff in their bags, and they've never had an issue.
I will pay you to close my listing leads. Let me repeat that. I will pay you to close my listing leads. Listen, realtors, if you haven't heard about Cold to Sold's sponsored agent program, then I suggest you listen carefully. For an incredibly limited time, we are taking on realtors, teams, brokers to become sponsored agents of our program. What this means is that for every deal that you close off of my service, I will actually pay you, which could render your entire marketing budget right down to zero. What's the catch? I ask you to make me a video testimonial, just like the one that you're seeing, so that I can use it in promotions. Meaning, if it's a good one, international exposure. Anyways, these aren't normal leads that most agencies are generating for you using Facebook or Instagram, or even worse, buyer leads in this market. These are Google and YouTube quality leads, meaning we only target people who are actively searching for a real estate agent to help them list their house. We're not trying to convince someone to click on some gimmicky ad. The only type of leads that we generate are ones with high intent. We survey them to ensure that they are legitimate and they're ready to chat with an agent. We also help you follow up with them to uncover their intent further with our in-house call center. So if you want to 2, 3, or even 5 times your GCI, I highly recommend you click the Learn More button below and my team will chat with you today.
Hi, how you doing? You know, if the last couple of years has taught us anything, is that sports are an essential part of our American lives. But for my money, being able to sit at home with some popcorn, cold beer, comfy couch, pretty much as good as the real thing. So as our country turns its attention to March Madness this spring, it also got me thinking, how many sports arenas and stadiums have the NICA IBW team built over the years? Well, here's a quick sample. Allegiant Stadium has recently opened its doors as the home of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's state-of-the-art, holds about 70,000 fans, and lets them connect with the rest of the world with 1,700 Wi-Fi access points. It was built with more than 227 miles of cable and features more than 2,000.
But now Brittany Griner has this issue, but some people are saying it's more than just she's a WNBA player. She's lesbian also. And then U.S. and Russia are having issues. So it's too many parts with it. It's too many parts with it.
You're right, Ms. J. There's a lot of elements. At the end of the day, though, I think the timing with this thing is crazy because, like you said, you hear athletes talk about they bring weed in or paraphernalia in and out of different areas. Issue with Russia and Ukraine. It just was a bad, it was just off for her going into an airport. They're going to be doubling down, checking everything. So, Brittany should have been smarter when it comes to that notion. But what she is suffering so far, what she's facing, and the lack of attention that she's getting over here in the States when it comes to the media is really ridiculous to me. Like, nobody's talking about this story.
Like how some people will speak out against certain things. I think people don't want to be blackballed in a sense. It like if they're pressing on it too much with it, they're fearing of not having a job, getting blackballed, and then it's like, okay, I went through all this, and it's like, who else is gonna get on the wagon with me and like speak out? Like on social media, I've seen several NBA and WNBA players say things in regards to free Brittany Griner.
Free Brittany, yep.
But it's like, you can't really go detail into it. Now, the WNBA players have known for weeks with this happening. They've known. As far as like the world is just finding out. But the WNBA players as a whole, they said they knew from the beginning.
This happened in February.
Yeah.
The reports didn't come out to the most until the beginning of March. But you're right. They were already aware of that.
It's bad handling on Russia's part, and it's bad handling on the U.S.'s part as far as like her agent, the WNBA, Kathleen Ingberg, and how you handle some of these situations. You guys say you're in communication, but it's like, what are y'all doing to get her back here?
But I got to talk to the bosses, Jay. You got to explain to me, how does somebody get blackballed for speaking out on this situation? Because this is not an in-house scenario. This is Russia versus the United States, if you want to put it basically in that.
We all need help, just different kinds. Maybe you need a little. Maybe you need a lot. At H&R Block, get the expert tax help you need. Online and in person. Help is here.
They'll say, "Oh, you're being too like political." You know how they go with some people when they give their opinions on certain topics. It's like crazy, LeBron. Bro. LeBron gives his opinion on something, and then he'll tweet it, and they'll say, "Well, what gives you the right to speak on whatever?" That's what it's going to end up being. I'm waiting for somebody who has a platform that's on a show to speak out and say what needs to be said. Candace Parker would be the perfect person, in my opinion. Because she's on there with Charles Barkley. She's on there with D-Wade. You got Shaq. You're on one of the highest platforms and on TV to speak and say something as far as Brittany Griner.
Right.
ESPN is another one. You guys are not speaking on it.
What do you think about Lisa Leslie speaking out on this matter? Do you think she's going to face some backlash?
It's going to be some backlash. It's going to be some... It may, but then it may not, because she spoke on it vaguely and politically correct in what she said. So she spoke on it, but she didn't speak on it. And she's not pinpointing or naming names. So that's where I don't think she's going to have a backlash from it. I think it depends on who says it. Who says it and how respected is their opinion. That's why I think Candace Parker would be perfect.
This to me is we talking about life and death in a sense, man. Like this is not an average military average jail sentence that she will be facing or dealing with in another country at that. Nope. Russia's never been the best friends of the United States. Like she has nothing invested that they would treat her good or, you know what I mean, give her any special treatment. Nope. And the fact that there's not enough exposure being talked about or that she's still not here, it scares the hell out of me. I mean, and then you brought up the fact about, you know, her sexual preference and all that, like all that is playing a role, but you don't even see the LGBT community really like speaking out on this publicly consistently. Like I don't hear no one talking about the Brittany Griner situation in the masses. And it makes me feel like, you know, like Lisa Leslie said, people are being advised not to say much. And I'm just like, why not?
It's like, you hate to say it, but it's like people pick and choose who you want to help, who you want to back, because LGBTQ plus should be the main ones fighting.
Yes. And should have everybody backing them, that community.
Why are you guys not?
The WNBA, the NBA, there's so many different pockets of communities that should be speaking out, and no one is talking. And nope. I'm clueless on why.
I want to say everybody wants to be politically correct, and you don't. It's like the people that are outspoken on all the rest of the issues. Mm-hmm. She's one of your own, as far as the WNBA. Why are you guys not being overly outspoken about this? Unless your teams have advised it, and this is coming per top of the food chain for the WNBA. That's the only thing I could see. But as far as like Lisa Leslie speaking out on it, you don't have too much to lose. You're not a player in the WNBA right now. So that's what I'm saying. Her, Renee Montgomery, you own the Atlanta Dream. You would be a great person to speak on behalf. And some of these other people that have platforms, use your platforms.
I'm going to keep it a buck.
I'm
going to keep it real. I'm going to tell you the problem. One of the problems. This country that we live in, this United States of America, the people inside of this country are so racist. They don't forget anything. And this is why I'm saying this. I did a video on an update on Brittany Griner when this thing first had happened. And if you go to the video, just look at the comments of what people are saying. Good for her. Brittany Griner, I think, spoke out against something going on in the United States. I don't know if it was a long time ago or recent. And everyone in the comment section kept referencing, like, I bet Brittany loves America now. This is what she gets, this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting here reading all these comments, and I'm like, bro, how would you feel if one of your family members was in Russia right now in the middle of a war, being detained for weak vapes and cartridges? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're talking about being facing 5 to 10 years in a labor prison. Like, it's unacceptable, bro.
It's unacceptable. But I salute to everybody who is speaking their piece.
Yes.
I understand you guys, your hands are tied to a sense, and you have to be really politically correct in even the tweets that I'm reading. But you guys are saying free Brittany Griner. I've seen that all across Twitter and social media. So it's not that you guys aren't supporting. It's just that
gotta go harder.
Somebody's got to jump out there and really say what needs to be said.
Gotta go harder.
And not fear some backlash. That's what.
Let's get into the next topic. The NBA MVP race. It's getting kind of good. Before we even talk about who you think is going to be the MVP this year, Ms. J, Frank Vogel went on record yesterday. Feels like LeBron James is having an amazing year, an MVP consideration type of year. The Lakers have just not played well at all.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? LeBron has had, when you look at what LeBron has done, he's putting up MVP numbers.
Yeah, isn't he leading the league in scoring?
He's leading the league in scoring. He's just playing outstanding basketball consistently at that. But the problem is, how much value is there? Because the team really ain't value. You know what I'm saying?
No value. They're probably at best the 8th seed going into the playoffs in a play.
Right now, they like the 10th seed. They're in the last spot, and they clinging on to the play-in position. They clinging on.
LeBron's averaging 30, leading the league in scoring, but yet you guys are in the 10th seed that have to play in to make it in the playoffs. But you want LeBron to be considered for MVP. I get Frank Vogel's point, but we're always going to talk about, well, what you're doing helping to benefit the team to win. And at this point, it's not really benefiting the team.
Frank is saying whatever he has to do to save his job. This is just a kiss-ass moment for LeBron James. This is it. He got to go. He got to go, Jay.
Go now. He's got to go. You won a championship with them. You were hell-bent on getting Russell Westbrook. The experiment with him hasn't really worked. Anthony Davis being injured, everything's been around. At this point, I blame the Lakers organization. You could have had DeMar DeRozan. You could have had Damian Lillard. You could have had a better supporting cast. But no. You guys were sold on Russell Westbrook thinking it was going to work. You're sold on Anthony Davis and he's always injured. So, Lakers, you're pretty much getting what you asked for. You didn't want to give DeMar DeRozan a 3-year contract. This is what this all comes out to. You refused 3 years for DeMar DeRozan to get a guy that's injured and a guy that's been shooting bricks.
I still think the Lakers are a threat if they make the playoffs.
Definitely. You got LeBron. And you're going to fingers crossed that AD is healthy. Fingers crossed. You got Melo coming off the bench. You got Malik Monk playing amazing basketball. It's just LeBron.
It's mistakes, man. It's a lot of mistakes that's being made. When you look at the turnovers that Russell making, being the point guard, it destroys the rhythm that the team has. They can't get anything going.
No.
But I hope that because, in the playoffs, the game slows down. It becomes, a half-court game. and then you're studying the same team, you playing them over and over. You may have to play them up to 7 games. So I think if you have to deal with LeBron and AD and Melo and Russell in a 7-game series, it's not going to be so easy. I don't think you can just look at their record and feel like they're going to be a cakewalk, but they're going to have to make it into the play. They're going to make it in. And that's going to be tough. So I don't know, man, but I think the Lakers, hopefully they make it. If they do, I think they'll be a threat. But Frank Vogel I'm going to keep it real. LeBron is having an MVP caliber season, but in reality, the Lakers have no value. So LeBron, to me, can't be the most valuable player this season.
No. If I'm the Lakers for next season, I fire Frank Vogel. I trade Russell Westbrook to get somebody else. I trade Anthony Davis.
Thank you. This is why I rocks with you, Jay. Talk about it.
And get 2 players. I want 2 players that can give me something and stay, that are not injury prone, that can play, that they don't have to give 20 and 10 a game. Between the 2, they can fill in the void of those 3 players.
Because Anthony Davis' numbers doesn't make any difference if he's not on a basketball court. Yeah, no. Absolutely right.
Why didn't the Lakers go for Jeremy Grant? Jeremy Grant could have helped.
That's true.
Maybe y'all will look at him for next year.
You're right.
Point guard wise, it's so many point guards that you could trade for. It's just
the Lakers don't have any draft value, so it's gonna be hard.
Kendrick Nunn.
Where's
I
he
loved
at?
you when you played for the Heat. You have not played 1 game yet, and we're what, 60 games in, probably, and you haven't played a game yet. And they keep saying,
him.
"Oh, you're getting healthy. You're getting healthy." You were a waste of a roster spot. We could have kept Darren Collison if that was the case.
So right now, as far as the MVP ladder goes in the NBA, NBA.com released their top 10 MVP candidates. So we're just going to look at the top 5, and you just let me know if you agree, disagree with the 5, and who do you think is going to really walk away with this? So we got Joel Embiid at number 1, Nikola Jokic number 2, Giannis at number 3, Jason Tatum from the Celtics at number 4, and we got Luka Doncic at number 5. Also, we got Ja Morant 6, Devin Booker 7, DeMar DeRozan number 8, Kevin Durant number 9, and Karl Anthony Towns rounds this off at number 10. Who do you think will probably walk away with this? Because I do like a lot of names. I agree with you, but who do you think is going to walk away with the MVP this year if they remain healthy? If everything remains how it's being played, who you giving a nod to?
I'm kind of torn between Joker and Joel Embiid. I'm kind of torn between the 2 of them. The 76ers have a better record. Joel Embiid has been getting it done. Joker's been getting it done, but he hasn't really had any help. So it's like, and then I got to see, what is Joel Embiid going to do for us? That would be my other concern.
But this is a regular season award, though.
Okay, if we're going off the regular season, I would go Joel Embiid right now. I would go Joel Embiid. He's definitely deserving of it. He stood toe to toe with Kevin Durant, barking back and forth, in a good back and forth game.
I think if they didn't have James Harden, win or lose, if he played well, Joel will probably still walk away with the MVP. But because they now have James Harden, if they don't play well with these last few games, I think it's going to go against Joel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we talk about the MVP race, he may have been better off without James Harden than with James Harden because people's going to put a little bit more pressure on him. I'm going to be honest. If they could finish the season off winning, maybe not losing any more, and if he plays well, I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Tatum steals the MVP. He's been playing outstanding for Boston, especially the way they started this season.
Yeah, because they were talking about like breaking him and Jaylen Brown up. And I'm like, I don't think that's the answer to it. Mm-hmm. I think they feed off each other pretty well with whoever is the hot hand they kind of keep going to that person. I think Jason Tatum's really coming to his own this year, offensively and defensively. 50-point games, 40-point games. He's scoring better efficiently. He's not jacking as much.
Right.
He knows what it means to be the star and get the team the wins. He's understanding of that now. John Morant would have been nice, but he's been kind of, out the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
let me ask you about the person under John Morant on this list, because usually when you go back, when we talk about MVPs, it's usually the best player on the best record type of team that gets the nod. Yeah. Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns have been number one pretty much all year. Devin Booker, you would probably have to argue he's the best player on the floor for them, especially with Chris Paul being hurt.
Yeah.
Devin is all the way down to number 7. Why do you think Devin Booker doesn't get the respect when we're talking about MVPs, being on the number 1 seeded team for the majority of the year?
He's not flashy. He's not arrogant. He's humble. He's quiet. He goes out. He does the job. And he's a silent assassin. That's what it is. Jokic to me is all of those things that you just named, and he got the MVP last year. But he's willing to mix it up on the floor too.
Okay. So you don't think that Devin is tough enough? If Devin
Booker go out there and elbow somebody or get in somebody's face, that's the thing. People want to paint Devin Booker as soft. I don't think that's the case. I think he just understands all the extra stuff doesn't benefit him as far as making it win games and helping the team. So I can trash talk. Then I'm going to go drain about 3-4 threes in your face. We're going to win the game. We're going to be number 1. I'm going to continue playing in the playoffs while you're at home. I think that's more so his logic to it. KD's been balling since he's been back. But people are going to say, well, you've only had Kyrie but a certain amount of games. The mandate changed. I think Kyrie can play at home now.
Yeah, they played, I think, Kyrie's first eligible home game maybe tomorrow, I think. It's coming up. It's either the day tomorrow or, Monday. So Brooklyn is definitely going to be a threat. I am concerned about Miami because Miami was the number 1 seed, but it seems like they are collapsing right now.
They are collapsing. But, they said that they patched it up. Supposedly, Jimmy Butler says that he got mad because Udonis Haslem said he wouldn't be able to play how he's playing now in his era of playing. And then Jimmy Butler responded by saying, you guys were only relevant because you had D Wade.
That's a fact. And they wasn't even winning with D Wade. They were winning with LeBron.
Yeah.
D Wade was there for a long time and didn't, no playoff appearances, first round exits. What has D Wade done literally without Shaq and LeBron? And Jimmy Butler, no disrespect, because Udonis has been with Miami from the beginning, so he's a part of that culture. But Jimmy Butler brought winning back to Miami. They were just in the finals 2 years ago versus the Lakers.
Yeah.
So who's going to tell me that Udonis, even though he's the coach of Miami, who's going to tell me he's more valuable to this team when we talk about winning than Jimmy Butler at this point? And we watch Jimmy Butler's attitude when it comes to teammates from Minnesota to Chicago to Philadelphia. I think Jimmy ass is gone. He can say all the right things right now because they're still in the middle of a run. But what happened on that court in the middle of the game, man, that shit is going to revisit itself, I think, in the offseason. Jimmy going to be gone, man. Jimmy ain't dealing with that.
Yeah, you can't be challenging the coach because the coach tells you you're not.
Jimmy was wrong. But I just don't think that – I don't think that the disrespect that he got from Udonis and, having Eric Spoelstra, like, they got UD's back. Jimmy has no win in this situation. And for you to be the guy that pretty much helped bring these guys to relevancy, getting them in this number 1 seed so far, I don't think Jimmy going to take that shit lightly. It's like a situation in with Kevin Durant and Golden State, no matter what KD did, that was always going to be Steph's team.
Yep.
So, KD had to leave, and now Jimmy got to be looking at it like, man, no matter how much I win, y'all never going to look at me as that guy. I'm 10 times better than you, Udonis Haslem, but y'all put more respect on him than me because he's been there longer. So Jimmy probably be out the door.
I just think Jimmy Butler could have handled it differently. It shouldn't have been handled like that on the bench. That you and the coach are going back and forth, and that he has to tell you to just shut up because you're going back and forth with him. It shouldn't be handled like that. I personally say he should have stayed in Minnesota. Him and Cat. And if y'all could have waited, and now y'all got Anthony Edwards and some of these other younger players, and y'all are playing very well. Jimmy should have stayed there. He should have waited it out. You got more respect, in my opinion, in Minnesota and in Chicago at a point than you going team to team now. They value Bam more than they value him. And I don't know if it's because Bam's younger and he's developing and he's getting it down on both ends of the floor, but it just seems like some of the younger players they value more than Jimmy Butler.
Because these guys can be controlled. Jimmy can't be controlled. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy will buy into your program, but when he start to see holes being poked in this shit, Jimmy don't stick around for that BS, man. He stuck around long enough in Chicago, man. Jimmy is trying to, control his own destiny, so to speak. The only problem is Jimmy Butler at this point is not good enough to lead a team to a championship by himself. He's going to need some help from another superstar. And the way things are carrying it, the way things are being played out, like you said, it's not a good look. And these other superstars are not going to want to pair up with Jimmy Butler.
No.
He may not never win the championship just because of that reason. But, a lot of blame to go around in that scenario. But I think at the end of the day, Jimmy ass ain't sticking around with that shit. He's gone.
Nah. Is he a free agent this year?
I'm not sure, but I just think he's going to fight his way out of that contract. Like we see how the NBA players do.
Trade. Yeah, I demand a trade with the draft happening. I demand a trade.
And you got to also take consideration. You look at Kyle Lowry, like he still look like he's in Toronto. Yeah. Like Miami just didn't get anything out of him so far this year. So I could see that relationship breaking up after this season. This might be Miami's last shot for a while to be real relevant. Tyler Hero's playing well, but we got Brooklyn, we got Chicago getting better, we got Milwaukee, still in the mix. Philadelphia, there's a lot of good teams in the East. Boston, it's going to make it tough for Miami after this season, depending on what moves are made.
Because everybody was saying that Miami doesn't want to play Brooklyn. It's not like Brooklyn's not a team that they want to play. Nope.
Especially if they got. I liked Miami over Brooklyn, even when they had James Harden, because I had Lakers in Miami in the finals, because I felt like I'm questioning the defensive presence of Brooklyn. I feel like Miami is gritty, blue collar in the 7-game series. They going to play hard defense, so they going to have a chance. But you see that internal friction going on the sidelines, like this shit could cause a total collapse when it comes to the Miami Heat in the playoffs. The timing is just bad for this. Usually you have teammates fighting and fussing at the beginning of the year, and they use it as a driving moment, to motivate them to, higher heights. This shit came at the worst time.
Yeah, I watched the video of that, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Look what we done, because, Jay, we starting to see it a little bit too much. And we talking about professional basketball players. It's one, we always see players argue and fight, but teammates on the bench in the middle of the game, we just had Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard do this earlier this season.
Yeah.
You saw how LeBron and Isaiah Stewart, how they got into it, like how crazy that situation looked. Where they were opposite teams, but I don't know, man. I just feel like somebody's really going to get hurt because Udonis, man, he be acting like he forgetting where he at. Like he's a street dude, and you can tell when he gets upset, he just forgets that he's, in the damn arena. I remember him and Dwight Howard almost got into it a couple years ago. You know, UD is one of those guys, but I wasn't jacking that.
You got to know how to set the tone with the team, but also remember the professionalism part of it.
Yes, and you got to know your personnel.
Your ass is not
going to fly. It's not going to fly.
Not on the court. You could have told him that in the
locker room. And you're talking to Jimmy Butler. He's not no pussy. Jimmy Butler be wanting that same smoke. You know what I mean? Not to say he is tough as UD, but that just was not going to end well. You know, these guys got a lot of pride. And like I said, Jimmy has been the main reason one of the main reasons these guys have been relevant for the last couple of years. Not no damn Udonis Haslem. No. So, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he may have helped for some of them post guys developing.
Yeah, but shit. With that, without Jimmy, you have to. Without Jimmy Butler coming to Miami, you're not going to the finals in 2020. You're not going to be the number 1 seed this season. Like your other pieces, not even playing that well, and even on the court. So even though Jimmy is not a superstar, he's one of the biggest reasons why y'all relevant. I think they should have a little bit more respect in the public when they come to his name.
If you're Jimmy Butler and you can get a trade when the draft happens, who do you request to be traded to?
Jimmy is going to have to internally look himself in the mirror and figure out what he wants more. Because if he's going to request a trade, contracts and money need to be out the window. Your only focus should be winning. You will have to be willing to take a major pay cut depending on what your contract is, how many years is left. You might not have to take a pay cut because the team you get traded to will, pick up the contract. But if it's a free agency type of situation or a sign and trade type of situation, Jimmy might have to take less money to be put in a better situation and just be a part of support.
Could he go to the Lakers in place of maybe a Russell Westbrook and maybe another player and play with LeBron and AD? Would that work?
I like
Jimmy Butler's personality.
I don't think his personality would be a problem with LeBron and AD. Them guys need shooters. It just seems like everybody who is a shooter that gets around LeBron doesn't become a shooter anymore. Nope. Jimmy is never. He can score, put up numbers, but I don't know. I like the thought of those three. I wouldn't sneeze at that.
What about him going to like a? Not saying that the Bucks need him, but could he fit in with the Bucks?
They probably would have to get rid of Chris Middleton, but Jimmy and Giannis, I like that. That defensive presence, I like that. There's a couple places Jimmy could go to help, depending on where he's positioned at. Jimmy's like that 3.
What about going to play with Luka
in Dallas?
Yeah.
I don't. The thing about Luka, oddly enough, I think if Luka's going to get it done, he's going to get it done by himself. We always talk about you need 2 or 3 guys to win a championship nowadays, but it seemed to me in Dallas, Luka, if he does it, it's going to be done with him and some role players that know their job and are playing great basketball at that time. I don't think just because Luka gets another superstar or another star, it's going to, automatically put them closer to the Larry O'Brien trophy. Luka's a different type of animal. I think he could do it without the superstars. He just needs his role players to play well.
Yeah, especially Dinwiddie has played amazing since he's been traded there.
And they got rid of Porzingis. That was
he's been playing really good for the Wizards.
He has, but just the issue that he had with Luka, the beef that they had, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a thing. And that just gives Luka more confirmation that this is your team, this is your franchise. He would need it. Trey would need it because Trey is going to be a superstar in Atlanta, but he'll never win anything without help. You know what I'm saying?
That would be an interesting situation, him going to Atlanta with Trey and John.
Maybe he could keep Dame in Portland. You know what I'm saying? If Jimmy was to find his way in Portland, maybe they could help Dame stay in Portland.
That's a fact.
Like that. I think Dame going with Kawhi and Paul George, though. I swear. I think Dame is going to wind up in Philly. I mean, in the Clippers. I don't know.
I like it.
Last thing before we get up out of here, Jay, I appreciate you so much, man. Just real quick, any head coaches that you feel like, we already really talked about one, any head coaches you feel like is going to be losing their job at the end of the season, or do you have any picks of any coaches that's not currently in the game possibly getting a job next year?
As much as I like the Knicks, Tibbs, I don't know.
So wrap for Tibbs?
I don't know how much longer they're gonna give you with the Knicks. You got Julius Randle, the first year, he did well. He made All-Star. Y'all, I think, made the playoffs, but you didn't win. This year, he ain't really. It's been more so RJ Barrett taking the leap this year.
You got the Kemba Walker experience that went haywire. Like, that hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it's either Tibbs ends up jobless or y'all trade Julius Randle and y'all build around RJ Barrett, and that'd be your future. I like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett as a pair. He's definitely helped RJ Barrett's confidence skyrocket and him up in his game.
Right.
I love that part. But if I'm thinking long term with all these young players that are not even maybe 23, 24, 25 to develop them, you may need to trade Julius Randle to get these guys to be able to play. So it's like, I don't know if Tibbs may be the coach for that one.
Okay.
That would be my concern.
What about Steve Nash over in Brooklyn?
Oh, he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Okay.
They're saying that during the point of why wasn't he upset about the fact of Kyrie? You were cool about Kyrie being a part-time player, and that was the issue for James Harden. And you seemed fine with it. That's where the issue came. You haven't really said anything in regards to that. Because
he's a puppet. Steve Nash is a damn puppet for
if y'all don't do well this season, you may get to still be the coach next season to a point before you're fired. I don't think you got what it takes to be Brooklyn's coach.
Frank Vogel,
you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. And it's like, who would really be the coach to come back and do it for the Lakers? Because they're going to ask LeBron about whoever y'all are considering.
Any chance you think Doc Rivers could lose his job in Philly if Harden and Joel underperforms in the playoffs?
I don't think it's going to be this year because you just got James Harden. I think that might be more so next year. I think it'll at least be a 2-year experiment. And then if at least by midpoint next year they're not 5,
that could be on the hot seat.
He's fired. He's fired.
Last name, Mark Jackson. We talk about this name every season. Will Mark Jackson find a head coaching position in the NBA next year?
Realistically speaking, I'm going to say no, but I think he should. Brooklyn might be a situation for him. Philadelphia could be a situation for him. Like, you saw what he did with the Warriors. Like, people don't want to give him credit for some of the success and development and stuff as far as the Warriors, but that's some of his doing. That's not all Steve Kerr's doing.
None of Steve Kerr's doing. Steve Kerr got that put in his lap. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And people want to make it seem like Mark Jackson did nothing for them. Steph wouldn't be what he is now. Clay wouldn't be what he is now.
Right.
He just needs a team to give him a chance. Brooklyn, I think, could be a good opportunity for him. I'm all for it. Gotcha. Steve Nash gets fired next year. Mark Jackson.
All right, people, we are out of here. Ms. J, let everybody know where they can follow you at and keep up with you on social media, man.
Talks with Jay on YouTube. Eccentric Soul on Twitter. You'll find me somewhere. I'm everywhere.
Talks with Jay, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure y'all support. Should be doing a thing consistently. Jay, I want to have you back on the show if possible. either within the play-in week or right before the first round. I want us to do some predictions on one of the rounds. So I'll be tapping in with you, hopefully real soon so we can get back at it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, appreciate
and everything. So, yeah. Just been chilling, B, trying to keep up with what's going on in sports and
the Joneses.
Yeah, man. Football going crazy right now. So
oh my God! Don't even get me started with fucking.
Trying to write down my notes for that. You know what I mean? So
free agency, trades, and all types of shit. It's going down.
Yeah.
Kyrie back, bro. They gave Kyrie the green light. What we doing?
I told you, man. I mean, the East about to get real dark for folks, man. It's looking kind of crazy.
I'm not sold, bro. I'm still not sold.
What?
There's no denying that they're gonna be a tough exit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really want. He's had so much rest. He's gonna be going hard, but it's that supporting cast, yo. I'm not sold on them boys, Blake Griffin and them.
I mean, Seth Curry to me, unfortunately, is an X factor for me. So if you get Seth Curry healthy and you get your bigs going and you get a solid rotation and that young boy, I don't know if Cam is ready or not yet. I don't know. It's really going to come down. Honestly, the X factor to me is Steve Nash, bro. Steve got to do a better job, man.
He's not the right fit, yo. Didn't we have this conversation about this before?
Yeah, we did.
Steve is not the right fit for the fucking job, yo. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, Steve, man. I feel like with Steve, bro, we gotta figure out what's going on as far as what he needs to do. Like these rotations that he does, and figure out who can really play. Because just playing Kyrie and Kevin Durant to save the day 40 minutes a game for 7 games is kind of nuts. You know what I mean?
Gonna be enough. And they don't have home court advantage. And they like they're in the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. So they're gonna be on the road.
Yeah. Now the backside to that is like, well, I mean, does anybody really want to see Kyrie and KD 7 games straight other than the Bucks?
Well, I'll tell you this. if the season, I could be wrong. But I believe if the season ended today, Brooklyn would have to face Toronto, or would they have to face Miami? I think Brooklyn would have to face Toronto.
It'll be the play-in, so I think they'll have to face Toronto.
And because Toronto's got the mandate, Kyrie couldn't play.
Yeah, but the good thing is for a play-in game, you can lose one and then win the other one. And them other 2 guys ain't beating the Nets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's more so like, hey, man, how much rush y'all want? Y'all want to play an extra game or y'all want to just get this over with? I'm
surprised you ain't mentioned Ben Simmons. When you talked about X factors and keys to this thing, you never mentioned Ben Simmons. Are you good with him not playing? I mean, does it seem realistic that he will not be in the next uniform?
Listen, I ain't saying nothing else about Ben Simmons until I see him in uniform on the court. I done spoke about him about 1 too many times on this show, and he makes me look stupid every single time. So therefore, going forward, until I see him in the lineup or somebody's lineup, bro. Nah, bro. I ain't mentioning him, G.
We've been giving him a lot of passes, man. A lot of benefits of the doubt. We've been showing Ben Simmons some love, bro.
For him, bro, you've been off a year and some change from a playoff game, bro. What's going on with you? And I'm like, man, every time I'm like, yo, like, it's always like that hope factor. Like, you hoping that somebody's going to come, and it's like, it never comes. So it's like,
crazy.
Dog, I'm just gonna wait till I see you, bro. We just gonna have to run it without you. And you come in, you just get in where you fit in, for real.
Right. Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. What about what do you think about LeBron? Do you think he can hold off and get the scoring title? And if you think he can do it, what does that do for the GOAT conversation, if anything?
Doesn't do anything for the GOAT conversation, sir.
No, okay. I just want to see. I got to put all this thing in perspective because see, these is conversations that we're gonna revisit. So I be just trying to get people documented and just try to get their word. And okay, so means nothing.
It doesn't mean anything. Look, I mean, it's already, for me, LeBron's like legacy is already established. This is just like extra accolades right now. As far as like that window for him being the GOAT, I mean, if we're going off of championships and, for the era, I don't like doing the conversation no more because that just starts a whole nother can of worms. So
wait a minute. We got to start this conversation. Why do you hate this conversation so much? Because he's went to the finals more than Jordan.
Man, it's no winning. It's no winning with you LeBroners, man. It's no winning with y'all.
So let me ask you this.
Y'all just gonna say what y'all gonna say about LeBron, and I'm just gonna be like, look, man, listen. It's been so many times where, okay, y'all gonna make the argument about the Golden State conversation. Then it's gonna be, he brought these guys by himself, and
was it a lie?
Y'all gonna? I mean, it's not a lie, but I can only go off. I say you've been there, so like, how many times he been there? And then how many times has he came through?
About 50%.
I don't see nobody really scared. Like, nobody really has like the chokehold on the NBA like Mike did, man. People were really scared of Mike. I don't think Michael really be scared of LeBron, man.
Because MJ wasn't a people's person, and MJ didn't look out for people. Let's keep it 1,000. LeBron looks out for the league. He looks at the other players as his brother. On and off the court, LeBron is linking up, tapping in, going to dinner, doing all types of stuff that Jordan didn't do. So these guys are reluctant. They really don't have no need to hate or be afraid of LeBron because LeBron has already kind of bridged the gap. Jordan never dealt with anybody. So when you got someone that's kind of standoffish and dominant, it will generate a fear factor. But with LeBron, I feel like it's not off of his talent. I just think that because he's such a people's person versus how Jordan was. But I'm not going to fault him for it. That does not determine what the numbers show. That's what I'm saying. Regardless if he's a nice guy, sassy mama mentality, all this other crap y'all talking about. The numbers show LeBron is the man.
If we want to talk numbers, I mean, Kareem should have been the GOAT a long time ago. If we really being fair about you want to talk numbers, I mean, what are we talking about here?
That story about to be written all over after next season. You already know. LeBron about to take that, and that's a wrap. So let me ask you this, because see, you're playing games right now, and I didn't expect you to be so disrespectful tonight. I did not expect this. So let me ask you this, because you said it's not going to matter in the GOAT conversation if LeBron holds off and get the scoring title. What if LeBron somehow gets another NBA title? Are you telling me that holds no weight in the GOAT conversation?
No, it does. It does. Especially, listen, what I think, I don't know if I told you this. If he would have somehow bring Russ and got him to the championship and they win the championship with Russell Westbrook, I would have said that he's the GOAT.
This is why I respect you so much, because of those little intangibles, because no one else is going to take Russell to the promised land. I can dig it.
At this point right now, me going back and forth about Mike and LeBron is like battle rap. You know what I'm saying? It's preference 2-1 either way. That's just how I go, dude. 2-1 either way. You know what I mean?
Because he just seems to forget where he be at sometimes. I know he's the enforcer. That's what they got him there for. But I feel like he be just so out of control, out of body. And I think it's going to get ugly eventually. And
if it was against anybody else, I would feel that way. But because it was Jimmy Butler is just as with the shits as he is. And we know what Jimmy Butler, saying he gets in that bag. The reason he's even with the Heat is because he's that type of mentality.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's what got him there. You know what I'm saying? So I knew nothing was really gonna happen. I mean, everybody, NBA players be talking. Ain't no punches getting thrown.
Wait a minute,
You know
D.
what I
You
mean?
making it say like this is so you're saying this is no big deal?
I'm not saying it's not. I feel like, okay, that's something they need to talk about behind the scenes so it doesn't, so you know what I'm saying? It doesn't, you start scaring the white people. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to start doing it.
Yes, you don't want to do that. It's the playoffs. You do not want to in
But-
Miami at that. You do not want to scare the white people.
But nah, I feel like that's not their first time talking to each other that way. And I feel like that's probably it. Just they're losing, everybody's upset. You know what I mean? That's just how it go, man. And some people, when they get in that, they got this competitive nature. If they don't play with that edge, that doesn't keep them where they at. Like you look at Butler. If Butler doesn't play with that edge, he's nowhere near where he is. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he was trying to get fired up and it just boiled over. These things happen, man. You know what I mean?
Two things can be true. And I'm not going to disagree with none of the points you made. But all in the same, with all due respect, this is blasphemous. Because what's happening is the culture is disrespecting the future when it comes to the Miami Heat. Udonis Haslem is getting a pass for being so disrespectful to the guy who basically made Miami relevant in the last 2 seasons. Let's keep it real. Who's more of an asset to winning when we talk about that franchise at this point, Jimmy Butler or Udonis Haslem?
Yeah, I mean, on the court, yeah. You're going to say Jimmy Butler. That's just is what it is.
And I'm looking at this situation like I understand Udonis is the original. Like he's part of the Miami Heat culture, and he's the quote unquote bodyguard for Eric Spoelstra. I get all that crap,
yeah.
But this is also a business, and we're talking about the guy who has put y'all on y'all shoulders because Udonis was on the team all this time and ain't did nothing.
No, I mean, at this point, Udonis might as well just be an assistant coach rather than just take up a roster spot. And I feel like that would probably be better for him. Maybe that's what he kind of is, that player coach. You know what I mean?
Jimmy's gone.
You think so?
Jimmy's gone. Bro, you're right. Jimmy is one of those guys. You know what I mean? And sometimes this type of stuff do get people motivated and inspired. But when you look at the track record from Chicago to Minnesota to Philadelphia and what has happened, Jimmy's gone. Jimmy don't play games when it comes to teammates. We see what happened to Cat and Wiggins and, what happened in Philly. Now, Philly wanted to keep him, but
how old is Jimmy?
I don't know. Jimmy's got to be in his early 30s. You know what I mean? He got a little bit of mileage. He'll never be a number one in my eyes. He'll always be someone that's going to need help. But I don't think he's going to stay in Miami after that disrespect. I don't say it all. Now, I'm not saying that he was right for what he said to Eric Spoelstra. I'm not really giving him a pass either. But Eric Spoelstra, a grown-ass man.
Nah.
And if Udonis wanted to address Jimmy, I felt like the way he did it, that should have happened in the locker room.
Yeah, that's definitely a locker room thing.
They did that shit mid-game. He told him, I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm like,
the problem with Jimmy,
first time.
The reason I don't think Jimmy's going to leave, though, because, I mean, ain't nobody going to pay Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially what he's getting paid with Miami, nobody else is going to pay him that. And I hope he wouldn't be expecting that.
But we know Jimmy White. I think you could agree that Jimmy seemed to be wired a little different. I don't think Jimmy his gear money drives him.
Nah. He wants it. He's definitely trying to get a championship. You see that. Every time Jimmy do get on the floor, I do see that he gives 1,000%. You know what I mean? But
in the middle of a basketball game, professionals.
Lakers got into it earlier this year, didn't it? With Anthony Davis? Yeah.
Yep. And Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
I called for Frank Vogel's job when that happened.
Yeah. It definitely shouldn't be tolerated, man. But I don't know. When you get, a lot of these guys get spoiled. They get money. You know what I'm saying? Then, you think, okay, you may not be as good as me, but you're not going to disrespect me.
Right.
You know how it go, bro. It just is what it is. But yeah, as far as for Udonis, nah, bro. You just got to play your position and just, go on about your business. You ain't have to take it to where you took it. You know what I mean? So
I'm concerned now, bro, because I had Miami and the Lakers as my picks for the NBA Finals. The Lakers is one conversation, but after what I saw last night from Miami, the situation is going to either make or break them. Period. Because, like you said, they haven't been playing great basketball lately.
I don't think they were going anyway. Because when you get to the playoffs, the stars are the ones that kind of pull you through, and they don't have that particular talent that can really, this ain't like the bubble. You know what I mean? Like when I say that, you got teams that are deep, like the Celtics and the Bucks that could run 11 deep, 10, 11 deep. Miami could do the same thing, but the talent and the size is different.
It's not the same. Right. It's not the same.
So
like Tyler Hero's playing well this year. I think he's averaging about 26 a game, but he didn't play last year. He didn't play last.
You tell me.
Yeah. Consistency.
I gotta see it in the playoffs.
Right.
And I seen him disappear
last year.
We didn't know where the hell he was,
But he did his thing in the bubble. He did his thing in the bubble in the playoffs in 2020. So, but you're right, though. We do got to see a level of consistency. Even Bam got to play better. Like Bam, he been injured, but Bam kind of fell off. And I think Victor Oladipo, he's still stuck in the wind over there. Kyle Lowry, man. I know for a fact Miami did not get what they thought they was going to get out of Kyle Lowry. And I said from the jump, man. That was just not a good fit. His heart is in Toronto.
Yeah, that. And then the fact he can't stay in front of the guards that are in the East. He can't stand in front of nobody from the East, bro.
Right.
No way. So, since you up here, Laker fans. So, all the Lakers did yesterday was show me that Philly was just not that team.
Who won last night?
Even more.
I've been afraid to look at the box score, so I don't know if Lakers won or not. Did the Lakers win?
It was like Philly won, but it was close and without LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we borderline out of the play-in. Like we're not in a comfortable position at all.
No,
like New Orleans and San Antonio, right behind us.
You still gotta save LeBron for just to try to. He's gonna be gassed out by the time he get there.
If AD is not ready by game 1, 100%, this shit you can just blow it up. I'm talking the play-in. If AD is not 100% ready by game 1, it's a done deal because you can't expect LeBron to carry the shit for the first round by himself. Unless Russell start having out-of-body experiences every night.
Russell's. I guess he had an okay game, and then it just got worse and worse. And you like, dog. Come on, Russ.
Be on the lookout for a lot of coaches to get exposed, bro, for the rest of the year, including the playoffs. I think in the offseason, we're going to see a coaching carousel of different people being fired from Tom Thibodeau in New York to probably Frank Vogel in LA and some more moves, maybe Doc Rivers in Philadelphia, depending on how that shit play out. Sometimes we have free agency being the big news and stories in the offseason. I think coaching carousel and firing is going to be the big deal in the offseason because a lot of people ain't been doing their job, bro.
Huge deal. And I'm looking at, like I said, we're looking at Brooklyn crazy. Celtics look like he might be the guy that's over the Celtics. Look like he might be coach of the year.
And look how slow they started. They was a joke at the beginning.
They did not look like that. So yeah, once you got that culture, you know what I'm saying. And it's like,
they clinched the number 1 seed tonight with a win.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, maybe because of they're not loud or they're not a main. One of these big teams, you know what I'm saying? They should get a lot more credit, man. These guys that was just in the championship last year, they got to get a lot more credit than what they've been getting. I understand Golden State and Los Angeles are your hot teams, and Brooklyn. And now Brooklyn's about to get a lot of the spotlight is going to be on them going forward because now it's like, okay, so where are y'all going to place now that Kyrie is back? Y'all already took a L last night, a L that they didn't need to take. But, when you let a team score 70 points by halftime, bro,
Who was that? Who did that?
What are we doing here?
Who did that? Who did that?
Memphis.
To
and the Nets.
Versus Brooklyn. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, with Memphis, man.
Sold on them young boys? I'm not sold on Memphis in no playoffs.
Let's see it for 7 games, man. I mean, it looked cute. It looks cute when you're hot, but for 7 games,
yeah, bro, that's what I'm talking about.
It just looks different. It looks different. Now, I think Ja is the superstar. I think he is. He may carry you for a series, but when you go up against like Phoenix and Golden State and these more experienced teams, man, I don't know.
He needs help. If he make it to the Western Conference Finals, he better have somebody to help him because they're not going to get further than that.
It's going to make or break him because we're going to see who shows up and who disappears. And it always happens every year. You always see who shows up is the guy. And then sometimes you see the guy that's been the guy all season. And then you get to the playoffs and you just, where you at? You was here this whole time. Now when I need you, you're not here. So
yep.
That's just what it is.
We'll see.
All
right, bro. Salute to you. Appreciate you tapping in with me this evening, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
You know, I holler back at you.
Always. And just be on the lookout for the football podcast too.
Yeah, man. Whenever you ready to chop it up, bro, you know I got you covered. Any type of graphics or anything you need for your shit, you know, I'll put it together for you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Appreciate it, B.
All right, G.
Holla.
Peace.
Start sleeping at just the right temperature. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Visit sleepnumber.com to shop now.
Y'all better stop playing with me today. I am not in the mood for the BS, and I'm telling you, I'm on your bumper. If you get out of pocket, I'm on your bumper. Lakers fan, no Lakers fan, I'm on your bumper. Today, January 19th, you are now rocking with the best. Welcome back to the Best of 7 Sports Talk. I'm 7 Mitchell, man, and y'all know why we here because we got some things to talk about in the National Basketball Association. Good afternoon to everyone. Hope everyone is having a decent, what is today? Thursday, Wednesday, whatever day it is. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. They're the Best of 7, man. We got a couple things to talk about really in the LA area. Not going to waste too much of your time. Anthony Davis seems to be making a return real soon to the Lakers lineup. We're going to talk about that. And we also going to go across the hall, talk about Paul George and his current status with the Clippers when the next time we're going to see Paul George. But getting Anthony Davis could possibly return to the Lakers lineup sometime in between this road trip that they have coming up. Their next 7 games, the first game is at home, which is tonight versus Indy. But the Lakers are about to go to the east side for a 6-game road trip, including Brooklyn, Orlando. What other teams did they had to play? Philly, Miami. A couple of teams on the east that the Lakers are going to have to play on the 6-game road trip. Now, speculations are that Anthony Davis will make his return sometime in the middle of that. Now, also talks within that road trip, the biggest conversation, at least today, has been, will Frank Vogel even survive this road trip? Because I had my brother Good 7 on yesterday. We talked about Frank Vogel and his status as a coach with the Lakers. And Good 7 said that if the Lakers do not pull off the win tonight versus Indy, and start the road trip off with a loss against Orlando, Frank Vogel might be done after the first game of the road trip. And I agree with him 100%. I don't see any type of scenario that Frank Vogel can lose the game tonight and they lose the first game on the road against the Orlando Magic and Frank Vogel still keeps his job. I think it's just irrelevant. It's just a timetable matter as far as when he's going to be gone. Now, the only downside to this whole situation is that the assistant coach, David Fizdale, when Frank Vogel wasn't in coaching, I think Fizdale this year substituting for Frank was like 1 for 4, 1 for 5 as far as a record. So not that great production on that end. The Lakers, I think, are playing a little bit better overall, less turnovers, LeBron in his bag, but they still up and down like a roller coaster. So Anthony Davis, he underwent an evaluation Monday with team doctors, determining that recent tests has showed no damage. He hasn't played a game since he had sprained his lead ligament back in December the 17th in that loss to the Timberwolves. According to people with knowledge of the situations, there's big-time optimism that AD could return during this team's 6-game road trip. I wouldn't rush AD back. I really would not rush AD back. If I'm going to see Anthony Davis play, it would probably need to be at the end of this road trip at all. Because the biggest team that they're going to face, or one of the biggest teams that they're going to face, is going to be KD and the Brooklyn Nets. Well, no KD because KD is out. So you're going to be playing the Brooklyn Nets without Kevin Durant. And if it's in the Barclays Center, you more than likely not going to have Kyrie on the floor. So I would not risk Anthony Davis coming back to play some of these games, because if you can't beat Brooklyn without Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you need to go back to the drawing board anyway. That's another scenario that I could see Frank Vogel not surviving as a coach. You throw Philly in there, you throw Miami in there, some good ball clubs, deep ball clubs. But the Lakers are going to have to show some conviction. And Frank Vogel to me, it's a little bit too late. But the decision that he made to sit Russell Westbrook down in the fourth quarter of the win versus Utah, those are the types of moves and decisions that Frank Vogel is going to have to make. Putting LeBron James at the 5 is only going to last you but for so long, especially when you got your second best player not playing. So we're going to see how this thing actually plays out. I don't know. His knee didn't respond well with the bruise initially, but they're saying that, within this next week or two, we could see Anthony Davis back on the basketball court. In 27 games this season, Anthony Davis has only averaged 23.3 points a game, just under 10 rebounds. The Lakers are 6-8 since he suffered from that sprained ligament, not counting the loss in Minnesota the night that it actually happened. So even when Anthony Davis was on the court, we wasn't getting the same AD that we're accustomed to. We damn sure didn't get that AD from 2020. So we're going to see how this thing play out at the end of the day. Again, there's just so many AD. Now, how Russell Westbrook and the rest of the gang, how they're going to play throughout this road trip, going to be very interesting. It's going to be key. I don't think the Lakers can survive anything long-term without having LeBron, AD on the floor. With or without Russell Westbrook, you don't have a chance in hell, if you in the purple and gold, of winning any type of real hardware or even going to the playoffs if you cannot get Anthony Davis and LeBron on the court at the same time, with Anthony Davis stepping his game up a little bit more. LeBron is in his 19th year. LeBron out there looking like an MVP. Kudos to that. But the driver's seat should belong to Anthony Davis. And ever since last year, I have not seen that conviction. I have not seen that vibe from AD. So I don't know if Anthony Davis is satisfied with being a champion already, if he's just truly injured and he's still trying to get himself together. But when he did play, I just was not sold on the production and what we were receiving. So you guys let me know what y'all think about Anthony Davis returning to the Lakers sometime within this road trip. I would not force it. Like I said, if I was the Lakers, more than likely, I would just leave it alone, let him come back once they get back home, and then, work their way towards the All-Star break. Salute to my brother Atlanta since 82, man. Happy New Year, man. It's been a minute since I done chopped it up with y'all, man. Happy New Year to you and the family. Just coming through, man, letting y'all know it looks like Anthony Davis could be returning to the Lakers sometime within the next week, the timetable looking like. But again, if the Lakers start off slow with this road trip, or if they get blown out, because the reports were yesterday that Frank Vogel is on a day-by-day type of situation. So all it's going to take is one blowout. And I think that the damage will be done and Frank Vogel will be out of a job.
I go to Food Line every Wednesday for the hot sales.
I shop when inspiration hits.
Ooh. However you Food Lion, we make sure you get the same fresh food.
I sure know how to pick 'em.
At the same affordable prices.
I pick those.
Because this is our home, and that's our Food Lion.
So these next 5 to 7 days are going to be so crucial when it comes to the future of the Los Angeles Lakers. And we're going to have to figure out, what's going to be next. Because like I said, more than likely, if they get rid of Frank Vogel, the next man up is going to be David Fizdale, the assistant coach of the Lakers. But when he was coaching in substitution for Frank this year, he went 1-4, 1-5. So not a lot to be looking forward to, but this is about to be clutch time going into the All-Star break of this NBA season. In other news in the NBA, we're going to stay with the LA squad, but we're going to go across the hall to Paul George and the Clippers. So the Clippers are actually extending Paul George's period of rest for the torn collateral ligament that he has in his right elbow a couple more weeks, according to sources at ESPN. Now, PG has not played a game since scoring that 17 points in that win versus the Sacramento Kings on the 22nd of December. He had initially suffered the sprained elbow against the Blazers this back in December the 6th. He rested in rehab for a couple weeks. He missed 5 games. He came back and, kind of got messed up again. The MRI and the Clippers revealed on Christmas Day that he had that torn UCL in his shooting elbow. The initial timetable for Paul George would need to be 3 to 4 weeks before being evaluated or reevaluated. The Clippers right now sitting at 17-15 when Paul George last played. Without their star guard, the Clippers have gone 5-8 ever since. Very surprised about the production and the lack of success that the Clippers and the Lakers are having. Let's be honest. We would have definitely thought that both of those teams out early. They still got a shot, of course, for the playoffs or the play-in tournament. Same thing with the Lakers. I don't think these guys are waving the white flag, but it does seem to me a little bit that the Clippers are not pressed to make any run, because I think they know in reality, without Kawhi on the floor, they stand no chance. Even with a healthy Kawhi and a healthy Paul George, I still think the Clippers will be missing a piece. If those guys were healthy, I would say Dame Lillard could try his hand and go play with those guys for at least a year. But now that Kawhi's not coming back, now that they're giving Paul George a couple more weeks to get himself together, it's pretty much apparent that the Clippers are going to just have to rock out with what they have throughout the rest of the season. As far as the Lakers go, I don't really know if the Lakers are going to be able to pull any type of magical trades or anything like that, just for the simple fact there's nothing really available out there that they can afford. Yes, you got Ben Simmons. Yes, you got, Buddy Hield and Darren Fox and some of these other guys. But at the end of the day, what does the Lakers have to offer? People don't want Russ. THT, who was untouchable at first, he's struggling. Dwight Howard, not getting any play. Yeah, it was known that Kawhi wasn't going to start the season, but I don't think a lot of people anticipated him to be out for the entire season this year. I thought at least that he would be maybe down until the All-Star break and then be ready to rock. But it doesn't seem like Kawhi Leonard is going to be playing at all this season. And Paul George, they're shutting him down for a little while. So this Clippers thing could be over as we speak. Only time will tell. The Lakers, again, like you said, they have nothing to offer in return. So really, they're going to have to deal with what they have. These guys are just going to have to play better. And whoever's coaching the Lakers is going to have to learn how to coach smart. That's the reason why, when they beat Utah the other night, even Russell Westbrook, he had to play the game with that body bag dunk on Rudy Gobert. But mind you, the Lakers were down, I believe, by 9 in the fourth quarter. And if it wasn't for Frank Vogel making the decision to sit down Westbrook for the majority of the fourth quarter and letting Austin Reeves play the point guard, the Lakers probably would have lost that game. We know the turnover ratio between LeBron and Russell Westbrook. We see time and time again how Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter tried to force so many plays. He only played a little over 3 minutes in that fourth quarter. And I think that was key because they didn't have that many turnovers and they were able to fight back and they got the W. Utah Jazz is a playoff team. So those are the types of wins that the Lakers are going to have to kind of round and put in bunches. We've seen them beat some roller coaster teams before, but the Lakers need to get a couple W's versus some playoff caliber teams. But it's going to have to come with great decision making. And I just don't see it with Frank Vogel. This road trip is going to mean and define a lot depending on how they play, the attitude. Frank Vogel is on a day-by-day basis. I honestly don't think that he's going to survive through this road trip, but we'll have to see. Yeah, Black Sheep, my guy, my brother, salute Black Sheep, Big Bird. He called Big Bird, AD, Anthony Davis. They saying that he should be returning sometime between this road trip that the Lakers got, this 6-game road trip coming up. I just don't see the significance in rushing AD back, even when they play Brooklyn. You're not going to have Kevin Durant. Brooklyn's not going to have Kyrie Irving. So I don't see what's the need to really force them there. They do have to play Miami and Philly, a couple other solid teams on the East. But I just think that that's extra time for AD not to force him back. Of course, you're looking for chemistry and rhythm because him, LeBron, and Russell have not played that much this season. But the Lakers have no chance of doing anything this year, big time or long term, if AD is not present. And AD has to step it up. He has to step it up because even when he was on the court, he only averaged about 23 points a game. And that's not general. Gets better with the turnovers. LeBron's playing pretty well. They need AD for a chance. And they need a good AD. So I just wouldn't rush it. You know what I mean? This is going to be the 4th year. We haven't seen a LeBron versus KD game in over 4 years. Yeah, but see, I like how you talk incomplete, Black Sheep. Black Sheep says LeBron plays no defense in late in games. But why is that? Let's talk about what he's being asked to do on the offensive side of the ball court. LeBron is in year 19. Yes, LeBron is not one of those guys that can sit down in a chair and lock you down in defense, but he can still chase. He still can chase you down. He can still play that safety position, so to speak, defensively. But at the end of the day, they need the offensive production from LeBron. They're not getting it from Russell. They're not getting it from Melo, and AD is not on the court. So even though you're right, Black Sheep, they need him. I don't think that that's the answer defensively. I can't blame LeBron for that because of what's being asked of him on the offense. LeBron is 37 years old, year 19. And then you don't have your best player, playing with you. And then you got Russell Westbrook, who's the point guard, leading the league in turnovers. It's a tough call. Now I can accept that. LeBron needs to set the tone for the rest of the ball players. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to go no further than LeBron and AD takes you. So maybe LeBron James could definitely do a better job of, like you said, setting the tone, setting a standard defensively. But again, they don't have a bunch of rookies. Avery Bradley is a great defensive player. He knows what to do. Dwight Howard is a 3-time defensive player of the year. He's not even getting any minutes. So this goes back to Frank Vogel and the decision making. Just all over the place. Now, Black Sheep said LeBron needs to go back to the point guard and put Russell Westbrook at the 2 guard. But the Lakers was only successful when they brought LeBron down to the 5. But that's only going to be short term. That can't last forever. So we are seeing Frank Vogel directly and indirectly getting exposed. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, but it start off tonight. They're at home versus the Indiana Pacers tonight. Then they go on that 6-game road trip on the East Coast. It's going to be very interesting, but they do expect Anthony Davis to come back soon. We're just going to have to see how that play out. I'm about to get up out of here, man. It's 7 Mitchell with the Best of 7 Sports Talk. Salute to everyone that tapped in with the live chat. I'll come back later on. We'll talk more NBA basketball. I just wanted to drop the news and an update on AD as well as Paul George. Paul George is going to be given a couple more weeks because of his ligament damage. So I don't know what the case is with the Clippers, but I will say I'm very surprised to see where the Clippers and the Lakers are currently based off of what my expectations was in the offseason. But we still got some basketball left. You guys are now rocking with the best. Salute to everybody out there. Make sure y'all subscribe to my bro, Black Sheep. Big up to my guy, Anthony, Atlanta since 82. Y'all stay safe, and I'm out of here. Peace, y'all. Man, welcome back to the Best of 7 Sports Talk. I think we good to go. I think we in the building. Salute to all the sports fans out there in the NBA. It's been a minute, man, since I had the chance to talk. But the last time, one of the few last times we was together, I told you guys it's time for Frank Vogel to be gone. The Lakers look like they are close to making a possible deal to get Frank Vogel out of that coaching staff. Now, it seems to me reports were developing. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Lakers. Just a couple things I want to chop it up with, man. If you guys want to join the panel, you're welcome to go ahead and put the link in the live chat. You guys want to come up, give me your thoughts on Frank Vogel and anything that we got going on, talk about tonight with the Lakers. So last night when it comes to the Lakers, LeBron dropped 25 points, helped the Lakers in their 3-game losing streak, knocking off the Utah Jazz. Russell Westbrook had probably the play of the night, maybe the play of the year. One of the plays of the years with a monster dunk on Rudy Gobert, like put him in a body bag. This may have been the best play we've seen from Russell Westbrook in NBA history. I'm sorry, in it as a Laker in the Lakers uniform. This might have been Russell's best play, but when I woke up today, there was a report developing that Frank Vogel is pretty much on the hot seat when it comes to the Lakers. 7 salute, good look, salute. But there was a report that Frank Vogel is basically on a day-to-day type of situation when it comes to LA. Now, I'm not sure how I wasn't sure how real that was. I had to do a little bit more homework. But it actually looked like Frank Vogel could be out the door. Now, the Lakers, like I said, they snapped the 3-game losing streak last night. That's one big thing. They play tomorrow. They got the Indiana Pacers. They play at home tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern. But that's not a team that you think about being deep in the playoffs. I think in order for Frank Vogel to keep his job and remain the head coach of the Lakers, he's simply going to have to find a way to get this team to round up winning streaks versus squads that we're going to see in the playoffs. Utah is a team that we'll definitely more than likely see in the playoffs. The Denvers, the Phoenix Suns, the Golden States, those types of squads, the Lakers have to find a way to get back-to-back wins versus these ball clubs. Now, right now, I believe they're sitting at 500, 22 wins, 22 losses. So every win is going to count right now. But in order for the Lakers to be taken serious, I think they're going to have to get some wins versus some playoff caliber ball clubs. Now, Frank Vogel, one of the reasons why I think the Lakers won last night is because Frank Vogel made a big decision that he normally does not make. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like he should be gone, because he's not going to make the tough decisions. Now, even though Russell Westbrook had the play of the day, Russell Westbrook did not play so great last night. He didn't have an unbelievable overall game. He actually was benched for the majority of the fourth quarter. If I'm not mistaken, Russell Westbrook only played a little over 3 minutes in the fourth. That's the reason to me that the Lakers were able to pull off the win, because mind you, the Lakers, I think, were down by 9 in the fourth quarter. So he put Austin Reeves in. He made the call to sit Westbrook down in the fourth quarter. Austin Reeves just does not turn the ball over as much. If we would have had Russell Westbrook in the game last night in the fourth quarter, who knows how things would have transpired as far as the turnovers. An opportunity for them to come back may not have been an option. So that was a real smart move for Frank Vogel to, bench Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter. Austin Reeves got his bump. Like I said, LeBron had a good night, and they were able to hold off the Utah Jazz and get it done. But those are the types of decisions that I felt Frank would needed to make from the start. In order for him to have total control over the Lakers organization, these were the moves that Frank should have been doing months ago. Even when they tried to bring Russell Westbrook in and they tried to ingratiate him into the offense, when they brought Rajon Rondo back, I was like, you know what? The smart decision, the decision that would need to be made is for you to bring Westbrook off of the bench. Now, you may have to do some things when it comes to minutes for the simple fact that Russell is getting paid so much. But if you're looking to win games, I just didn't see how Russell gelled and matched well with LeBron and AD starting the year off. I felt like if you had just your quick essential floor general type of point guard, it'll work in your favor. But they did not. Frank decided to go with Russell, and they've been struggling. We saw the fight with a little scruffle between Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard. I just felt like Frank Vogel, man, he does not have any control over this Lakers organization, whether they're winning or they're losing. Let me bring my guy up. I got Good Seven in the building that's going to join me for a couple minutes just to talk about Frank Vogel and, possibly what will we be seeing in the near future when it comes to the Lakers. Good Seven, are you able to hear me, bro?
Oh, I can hear you.
Bro, what do you think about Frankie V, man? Because you're a big supporter of the show, and I know you and I have talked about him being fired multiple times already this year, and we only a couple of months in. Now the reports are he's pretty much day-to-day with it. What you think about Frankie V being the coach of the Lakers? Do you think he's going to be out the door before the All-Star break?
I'll put it to you like this. They got the Pacers, Orlando, Miami, the Nets, Sixers, and Hornets next. They're supposed to be the Pacers in Orlando, and then the next 4 games are teams over 500. They have to at least go, I would say, 4-2.
Now let me look at those. Let me look at that team. Let me look at the team. So we got Indiana tomorrow. We have you said we got Indiana tomorrow. We have Orlando, Miami, Brooklyn, and Philly. Those are the next five.
And the next 6 is the Hornets, because then after that they play Atlanta.
But again, when you look at those 7 games, 6 of those 7 games, the last 6 are all on the road. So the Lakers they're about to go on a big time road trip. They got Indiana tomorrow at home, but then they go down to Florida for 2 games. Then they go to New York, then to Philly, then to Carolina, then back down to ATL. Then they got Portland at home. They play the Clippers. It's a road game, but it's pretty much the same city. But they are about to go on their biggest road trip. And you got the Brooklyn Nets, who we expect to be in the playoffs or possibly in the finals. We got Miami, who's a playoff team. Charlotte looking good. Atlanta was a playoff team, and Philly. So this is a nice sample size, in my opinion, of competition that the Lakers really need in order for people to take them serious. Like, even though they got the win last night, which was good versus Utah, they need a couple more wins against teams that's playoff caliber. And I think that's one of the reasons why Frank ain't been comfortable and he's on a hot seat right now.
And my thing, he's been on a hot seat because he's not, his adjustments are poor.
Yes.
Because
he doesn't seem to have the heart to make the decisions.
And then when players are doing well, he pulls them. I don't understand that.
Right.
He just started playing Stanley Johnson again. Why Stanley Johnson on the bench? Trevor Ariza's 1 for 8. Why is he getting all these minutes?
Have Stanley, in your opinion, has Stanley deserved, he's on a 10-day contract. Do you think he deserves a guaranteed contract at this point? He had like 10 of his 15 points last night was in the fourth quarter.
Definitely.
He played big.
He brings that energy that you need. He reminds me of the Della Dovas and those type of players. He may not score, but he does other stuff, and he plays that defense, that intensity.
Right before you check out, this tool scans the web for active discount codes and automatically applies them. I just got the new iPhone and saved $98. It's that easy. People like you have already saved over $160 million doing this. When you shop with your favorite retailers like Amazon, Walmart, and Target, you can get awesome promo codes on iPhones, AirPods, Macs. It will even send price track alerts to you. What are you waiting for?
If you don't want to learn how to buy houses legally with $10 and then flip them to profit $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 or more, then click skip on this ad. Oh, you're still there? Good, because I'm about to give you access to an underground video that shows you step by step how to use this real estate loophole to buy and sell houses without needing your cash, without needing credit, and without closing fees, taxes, or paying for costly renovations. It works for moms like Tamika, who made $15,000 on her first deal, 2 months or so for a $15,000 payday. I do that all the time.
I'm telling you now, this is real. For whoever is out there doubting or have doubt, trust me, Ty knows what he's talking about.
It's worked for people who have been in prison for years, like my man D, who went from zero in his bank account to becoming a millionaire.
We had met, and then I started learning how to do the real estate game myself, and then like 11, 12 months after that, man, I had made $1.5 million in real estate. And also, I want people to understand how good of a teacher and a mentor you are, bro.
It also works for all ages, like Khalid, who made $22,000 on his very first deal.
Seeing a check that big, I just kind of sat in my car a little bit outside the title company and was like looking at the number like, man, this is one deal. But just seeing that big number right there, and that's all mine, was kind of mind blowing.
Even for the homeless, like Michael, who was living out of his car and made $40,000 on his very first 2 deals.
past week, I closed 2 deals. One that rounds out to 24,000, and another one add out to 16,000 total, a grand total of $40,000.
So guess what? It can work for you too. So if you want to learn this loophole for mobile, you can click on the top right or desktop, the bottom left. You'll be then taken to a page that looks like this, where you'll learn all about it. My name is Ty, aka the Flip Man. And for almost 20 years, I've been buying and selling houses, often for $10 or less, using a loophole I discovered in the real estate market. A loophole that lets me flip a house without actually owning the house, using something I call wholesaling real estate. Take a look at this. Not only does this loophole for making money in real estate works for me, it also works for thousands of my students and viewers, people from all walks of life. So click on the link to the video, because I'm going to show you something different that works for just about anyone, anywhere, at any time, regardless of your experience. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you what this loophole is and show you step by step how you can start to use it, making an average of $10,000 per deal without risking a dime. And it won't take a year, a month, or even a week. You can get started as early as tomorrow.
Ron always had somebody like that on his team to run with him, man. You need people like that.
And also, one of the biggest reasons I think that, Frank Vogel, his time has passed, because when you go back to the days of the Indiana Pacers, Frank Vogel has always been a defensive-minded coach, one way or another. And this year, the Lakers' defense have been horrendous. So the thing that Frank Vogel could put his head high on, they're not even producing on that side of the ball or the court. So I just think Frank Vogel just got totally exposed this year, even part of last year. And I think it's time for him to go.
But then, don't get me wrong, I agree it's time for him to go. But then I'll say this for him. Not having Anthony Davis, the anchor of the defense, that kind of affects the game a little bit too. Dwight Howard's he's really not playing like Dwight Howard that they thought they was going to get.
Right.
DeAndre Jordan is just flat-footed. He's old now. Kent Bazemore, I don't know what they thought he was going to do. None is hurt. A lot of injuries. Melo. Yeah, so I mean, I understand things happen, but even in the losses, you're supposed to do certain things like, you know what, okay, they may be losing, but he's doing his best out there. He's not doing his best, because when he's matching up is wrong. You got LeBron at the center, playing Dwight Howard. That only could work for a short period of time. You can't be running. You're going to kill LeBron having him play center.
And that's the only reason why they've been winning. That's the only reason why they've been winning. You know what I mean? When they brought him back. And like you said, man, the decisions that needed to be made at crucial times, Frank Vogel just seems to not be able to do them, even when the game is out of reach. You got a lot of guys that's past their prime, but even if you're losing, you got to experiment. Like, you got to come up with different things. You got to try some different things. And it just seemed like Frank has just been afraid to try to do different things to help this ball club grow.
You said the right word just now. You said afraid. Because last night was the first time he actually said, all right, Russ, go sit your behind down.
Thank you. And that's why they won.
And that's why that's why they won. When they had when they put LeBron, Monk, Reeves, Johnson, and I think was Avery Bradley out there. Yes. Was that Avery Bradley?
Yes.
That lineup was doing their thing in that fourth quarter, man. They were doing their thing. They the one that brought the team back.
One of these so-called healthy foods actually drains a guy's T levels, which is his number one muscle-building, fat-burning hormone. So eggs, flaxseed, milk, bananas, asparagus, oatmeal, or chicken. And I know all those foods sound healthy, but the truth is one of them is completely destroying your manhood. And I'll tell you which one it is in just a few minutes, plus 3 more testosterone killing foods that are probably in your kitchen right now.
I get further and further in. By the time I hit the 90 days, I had lost right at 30 pounds and my jeans were falling off of me.
I lost 53 pounds. I would say that it far exceeded my expectations.
I don't even weigh 210 pounds. You've lost me. That's insane.
My total journey is 210.1.
That's
I now went from a 6XL. I can now say that I'm in a large.
Week 10, down 107 pounds.
You're jacked now.
This has been the best shape I've ever been in my whole life.
Testosterone is what makes a man a man. But if you're eating foods that raise your estrogen, you're never going to have high testosterone. I've been eating healthy for years, and I was eating these foods that people say are healthy, but was actually killing my body's #1 fat-burning, muscle-building hormone. And when I stopped eating these, my results went through the roof.
Started off all jiggly and fat, and I hated the way it felt, and I knew where I wanted to go. I didn't know how to get there. So I ran across V-Shred on Facebook, and I thought, well, if I can get to where I want to go faster, sign me up, let's do it. And it was a great decision.
So according to studies, there's one food that can raise your overall testosterone levels by 52% and overall sexual health by 78%. Can you guess what it is? I'm gonna say probably not, because until a couple of years ago, I had never heard of this food. It's got a super weird name, but what's cool is that you can literally start eating this one food today to reclaim your masculinity, to get higher energy levels, raise your libido again, start burning fat again, start building real muscle again, and actually start feeling good. So one of my buddies texted me the other day, and he was asking for some help with getting in shape. And he said that basically he's just completely out of shape now, and he's trying to eat healthier, but his energy's way down. He's not losing any weight. His libido and his stamina are way down. So I said I'd help him, and I was like, all right, send me over what you're eating. And he sent me it over, and there were definitely some changes that needed to be made, but there was one food that stuck out to me that he was eating, and I call it, this food, the masked man killer, because it's hidden as a commonly referred to as a healthy food, but it's horrible for guys because this one food kills one primary male hormone in your body and makes it impossible to put on muscle or lose weight or have energy or all of that. So I made a free presentation that tells you what this food is, why to stop eating it, and a 30-second morning routine that you can start doing to boost this hormone and make getting in shape easy. So click the learn more button below to check it out before you miss out. Literally, I saw results the first week. I lost 6 pounds the first week. There is a simple way to completely transform your physique in as little as 12 weeks, like, say, Hugh Jackman did for the Wolverine movie. Film roll is starting in just a few weeks, so they can't waste time on the wrong program. You know, a lot of guys don't really realize the effect that the foods that they eat have on their testosterone levels, and I actually didn't really know this until earlier myself, until I realized that there's actually one food that can increase testosterone levels by 52% and improve overall sexual health by 78%. And eating this one food can lead to insane results. More energy, a higher sex drive, an increase in muscle mass, all these things just by eating one food. So I made a free video presentation about this one food, and if you want to check it out, all you have to do is click the link at the end of this video. But I'll also talk about 4 other foods that will help support an increase in testosterone levels, as well as one food that you should avoid at all costs. But go ahead and hit the link below and find out what these foods are right now.
I recommend this to a lot of my friends. Really, just give it a shot. You're going to love it. I mean, it worked for me. It's working for thousands of people. So the proof is in the pudding. Look at the results. I mean, what do you got to lose?
I needed to change myself and be healthier, not only for myself, but for my kids. I was confused. I had never done a workout program. I had never taken supplements. I was overwhelmed with emotions on when to take it, how to take it, when would I eat, everything all together. The greatest thing of this V-Shred program and Sculpt Nation products is that everything was detailed from beginning to end. It took all of the stress, all of the unknown, the amount of videos and support that I received, not only from Vince and your emails and your messages, but from the Facebook group, which is so supportive. Everyone's on the same page for this journey, to the supplements that started making me feel better. I felt like for the first time, I could do it with only 20 minutes a day, and I had everything detailed in front of me to be able to be the best version of myself.
I saw results the first week. I lost 6 pounds the first week I got into it. I have so far 41 pounds
pounds when I finished the fat loss extreme program. And as long as I stayed with the plan, it works. And I can show you that it works. You can't deny it. And I'm like, okay, they know what they're doing. It's working for me. So there's no reason I should not follow it. And so I just did. And I got to eat stuff that I still loved. And I didn't really ever feel like I was dieting, which was also awesome. It blew me away. So I just was so happy. And that was my big motivation to see the results so fast.
When was the last time you did a proper cleanse of your intestines? Maybe you do them often, maybe you've never done one. But when most people hear the word cleanse, they envision juicing vegetables into strange green concoctions, or maybe drinking the old school lemon juice and cayenne pepper liquid without any food for days or even weeks on end. That's enough to scare away even the most hardcore health fanatics from ever doing a proper clean out. Not to mention all the juicing equipment and expensive fruits and vegetables that you need to buy just to starve yourself for a week. Luckily, there's a much more convenient way to cleanse your intestines and to do it quickly without having to change your diet. It's called Zupu from Umzu. Zupu is a natural supplement containing a potent mix of herbs that are proven to evacuate your bowels quickly and safely. And it's so easy to do. Just take 2 capsules of Zupu at night along with a glass of water or 2 if you want it to work even faster, and go to sleep, wake up, and go about your day. For most people, Zupu kicks in during day 1. Continue taking 2 capsules every night with water, and in no time, you're going to be flushing out more toxic waste from your intestines than you ever thought possible. Most people store pounds of fecal waste inside of them at any given time. Zupu will flush this out for you fast. Click through to read all the reviews of Zupu and learn more about how you can get started on your Zupu cleanse today. It's safe, convenient, and best of all, you don't have to waste all of your time juicing leaves or change your regular diet habits during the 15-day cleanse. Shipping is fast from our local Boulder, Colorado headquarters. You'll automatically get a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee as well, and you'll even earn rewards points towards any future Umzu products that you might also want to try. So if you're ready to cleanse the right way and potentially drop pounds of poop waste from your body in a matter of days to weeks, then give Zupu a try for yourself, completely risk-free. If you don't like it, we'll happily refund your purchase, no questions asked. Click through to learn more about Zupu now.
It's the whole Russell Westbrook experiment, man. Him in the fourth quarter is a disaster because he's not the greatest shooter. And he turned the ball over entirely too much.
When he's not on, he's terrible. There's no middle ground with him.
What do you think about the slam dunk?
Yeah, and then, the dunk. But that was one of the best dunks of the year right now.
He body bagged Rudy Gobert. I thought that was the best play Russell had in the Lakers uniform since he's been a Laker.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Remind me of OKC Russ.
Ooh, yeah. I don't think, and they talked about that in the post game. Some people don't think that Russ still had that in him. You know, that bounce, that aggression. He was violent going to the basket on Rudy Gobert, man. That was crazy.
Do you notice when you watch the games? I think that's why he misses so many layups. He's thinking too much.
And he's out of control. He jumps too early. He jumps in like in the middle of 2-3 players, and then once he's in the middle of the air, it's like he doesn't know what he wants to do until the last minute. And
I hate when he does that in the air and then try to pass thing.
Yes, it causes too many turnovers because he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing.
But you know what? But don't you know LeBron, don't you notice him and LeBron? Their turnovers have been very, very low the last 4 or 5 games. So the turnovers haven't been killing them. It's just everybody else hasn't been shooting at a higher percentage.
True. That's a fact. They definitely have decreased both of those. But again, when you look at the overall body of work, LeBron and Russell Westbrook, I believe those two led the NBA, at least at the beginning, in turnovers. Or if you include last year and this year, both of those guys' turnover rate was kind of ridiculous in my opinion. So they had no choice but to improve on that note.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, especially about LeBron, is like That's what Russell's supposed to come in here and do. LeBron always has the ball in his hand, so he's either trying to score or trying to facilitate. So he's going to have turnovers because he's trying to do everything.
True.
That's why I don't know. I don't know what you feel about this. If they trade Russ, just get it. All you need is a little bit of above average point guard, and they good because that's what he's not even giving you above average point guard play. Imagine if he just got above average point guard play every night. They'd be way better than they are.
Now, when you're talking about point guard play, you're talking about basically being a floor general, like having good assists.
The Rondo factor.
Okay,
Rondo.
Perfect.
We need
Rondo.
Rondo.
Rondo got a lot of DMPs going on. Like he's not even playing. That's another.
Oh no. Yeah, not him. We just need somebody like Rondo. We need a point guard like Rondo.
Give me Rondo still. Rondo is not going to turn the ball over like Russell.
He just don't look right anymore.
Who, Rajon?
Yeah, he just don't look right anymore. But he's not there anymore anyway, so
what, they got rid of him?
Yeah, he traded. He in Cleveland now, I believe.
Oh my.
He's in Cleveland.
I gotta check that out, bro. I gotta check that out. But my thing is just that Anthony Davis, you brought his name up. He's honestly, most people are gonna say Russell has been the biggest disappointment. Anthony Davis to me has been the biggest disappointment this year for the Lakers. I think his injuries and the way he was playing when he was on the court, it just wasn't the same as it was in 2020.
To me, it looked like he was out of shape. He looked out of shape to me.
And he was satisfied with being a champion already. You know, sometimes a person win a title and they just kind of take their foot off the gas, so to speak.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I saw it a little bit last year.
But I think now, since he's been sitting on that bench for 3 to 4 weeks now, and he's looking and he's seeing, and you know they all hear what people are saying.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to come back, and he's going to be the difference. Because if he can play like he's even just a top 10 player in the league, it's going to be a problem out here, man. It's going to be a problem.
So interesting, man. What do you think about Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets? Do you think Brooklyn going to cough up the money? Like they would basically have to spend maybe like $5,000 every home game to allow Kyrie to play home games. Do you think that they're going to go ahead and allow Kyrie to play at home, or do you think Kyrie going to get the vaccine? What you think the story is behind that?
I personally think that it's tough because if you pay the fine and let Kyrie play, then people are going to start saying, "Oh, so he can play without getting it. He can work. He can go to his job without having it." You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I really don't care, but there's going to be a backlash for it.
Absolutely. But you know what? I'm gonna say this: the Brooklyn Nets put their own foot in their mouth because they wind up running back, begging Kyrie to return. Remember, they didn't want a part-time Kyrie at first. They said if Kyrie wasn't all in, they wasn't going to deal with Kyrie. They basically was going to continue to pay him, but they sent Kyrie home. They didn't want no part-time player. Now that COVID is running through the NBA again, you got all these injuries. You now have KD out for like 4 to 6 weeks. They needed Kyrie now to come back, and now they willing, to appease to Kyrie. So if I was Kyrie Irving, why would I need to take the vaccine or change my stance? Because I didn't run back to Brooklyn looking to play. They came back to me. I'm good.
They came, yeah. That's true.
Do you think, though, bro, at the end of the day, can Brooklyn win the title this year without all three of these guys on the court together? Like, could they still win it some way with Harden and KD, or Kyrie and KD, or Kyrie and Harden? You said no.
No.
I don't see
Because
it.
now they saying Harden wants to be traded.
Yes. Reports are that he is, open to relocation. So, and I talked about him and Daryl Morey, the relationship that they had back in Houston. I figured that Daryl Morey would have his eye on this whole Kyrie situation because James Harden's contract is up next year. Kyrie's contract is up. So Brooklyn's opportunity to get the championship, they really only got this one shot left.
Yeah, that's true. But they're going to trade Harden for Ben Simmons?
Straight up, I don't think that that's a good deal. Maybe for Philly. But
for Philly is a great deal.
Yeah, but Brooklyn bringing in Ben Simmons to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie, I just don't see any success that way.
But look, think about it like this. Ben is the point. Kyrie's a shooter. Durant's a shooter.
Right.
Well, the white boy out there, he's a shooter. All you need Ben Simmons to do is play defense, get rebounds, and pass the ball and go to the basket. Like, look, he's the prototypical Rondo, but bigger.
And he plays better defense.
And he plays way better defense. Now, I'll be honest with you. I like him better with Ben Simmons. They have enough offense already. How much offense do you really need? No,
you mean Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn. If Ben Simmons went to Brooklyn, they have enough offense. Then you can slide Ben Simmons. How tall is Ben Simmons? 6'9"?
Ben Simmons, I think, is like 6'9", 6'10". But the key with Ben is that he's only like 24, 25 years old. Like, Ben is still young. A lot of people don't realize how young Ben Simmons still, how much basketball he still got left.
Imagine when they go small and they have KD sometime at the center at his 6'10", 6'11" self. Then you have Ben Simmons at the power forward. Then they still have Aldridge out there. Or you can put Aldridge at the center with Kate.
You got Blake out
with KD at the power forward. He still got Blake. Yo, I'm telling you, they might be better with Ben and getting rid of Harden.
That could work. Now, the Sacramento Kings, believe it or not, and he's you put Fox with Embiid. Does that improve the chance? Because I don't think that Joel has had a proven point guard before in his NBA career.
I think
so.
That pick and roll would be crazy.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And Joel can pull up in the pocket and shoot. Embiid can shoot from the perimeter.
Remember, Fox is a young dude too. He's not even 25 yet.
Right.
That could work.
That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be pretty interesting.
Because
I do agree.
If you look at Philly, if you look at Philly, what they're missing, they need more offensive punch. So I can see why they trying to maybe get Harden, De'Aaron Fox. Embiid needs some help. I know Tobias Harris he's decent. He all right. But you need somebody that is going to give me. All right, if Embiid is putting in 25 and 12 or whatever he's getting, you need somebody all right, I know I'm getting 20 out of him tonight. I got somebody they can always get about 20, and on a good night, you can get about 30.
Now, listen to this package deal that the Pistons is trying to put together for Ben Simmons. They're willing to trade Grant, Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk, and a first-round pick for Ben Simmons straight up. Can you see Ben Simmons playing in Detroit?
If I'm Philly, I would do that in a second. Look how much you get.
Bring those guys over. And I think you're going to clear your book. But the problem is, Philly still owes Ben Simmons like $170 million over the next 3 years. So that's a big ass contract for somebody to take over and for nothing. If
Detroit's not willing to take that over.
But that's what I'm saying. If they're willing financially to take it over, when you look at what they have left on their team, how you going to build around that to help the Pistons, make a playoff run? So it's basically they giving away $170 million. I don't see them getting rid of these pieces and draft picks, bringing Ben Simmons over and thinking that people is going to want to come to Detroit to play with Ben to possibly win a championship. Because that's going to be another issue.
Ain't nobody going to Detroit to play with Ben Simmons.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like it's crazy because that's one thing a lot of people have not talked about because of what happened in the playoffs last year. Like even if this guy does get a trade or find a new location, how many stars of the NBA is going to want to play with Ben right now? Who feel that Ben mentally is ready to rock?
I'm not even talking about Ben per se. I'm talking about, man, I'm sorry. Detroit is a black hole, man. Nobody wants to go out there. They ain't doing nothing.
Just to play, period. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Detroit
just to play. That who they picked? Cade Cunningham.
He's not that guy. He's not that guy, and he's showing immaturity early. Like he just got ejected from the game the other night after he did the reverse dunk and pointed at the opponent and got thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So
to be honest, what are you pointing at? I think they only won about 10 games, right? What are you pointing at? Y'all ain't doing nothing.
Crazy. That's that. You know how them young boys be, man. That's just the energy that they have. But you got to win games. That's at the end of the day. That's all that matter. So interesting, man. I just wanted to tap in for a few minutes with the people, and I just feel like I'm looking at Frank Vogel. Like I said, we talked about this maybe over a month ago, that I think it's time that Frank Vogel need to be out of the door because he's not making the right decisions. He's not making the tough calls that the Lakers are going to need to round up some wins. He did it last night, and you talked about, sit Russell Westbrook ass down for the majority of the fourth quarter. They was able to keep the win. But now,
I just wish the Lakers would hire Mark Jackson. I'm sorry.
Do you have a problem? Because more than likely, if they get rid
he's a good assistant. Okay.
So
I'm sorry.
So if they get rid of Frank, you still want them to go outside and try to pull Mark Jackson in.
I definitely do.
I'm a millionaire? I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated. You can hand your taxes off to me.
I wish the Knicks would hire Mark Jackson, man. I'm a Knicks fan, man. But I roll with Braun, man. I'm a Braun fan. But I roll with Braun.
I got to do a Mitchell report on Mark Jackson. I've really got to do a little documentary on the story of Mark Jackson and what happened in Golden State, man, because it just wrecks my brain on why this man has not gotten another opportunity to coach in the NBA, man. It's just no reason. He the one that helped quarterback what we have in Golden State.
I remember it like it was yesterday, when he got fired from Golden State and Steve Kerr took it over, I'm like, really? He put all this together and now he's out of here? Just because he wasn't I believe he got fired because he wasn't one of those yes men.
Absolutely. He knew what he was bringing to the table. Mark Jackson had cachet, and Mark Jackson was not going to just allow himself to answer to everything that the front office was saying. This was tailor-made for Steve Kerr. But I don't know, bro. It just got to be something so deep because, like I said, Mark Jackson has not gotten another opportunity since then. And we done seen the coaching carousel every year in the NBA, man. We losing coaches. So there's just absolutely no reason why Mark Jackson has not gotten another opportunity unless for some reason there's some behind the scenes type of shit.
Lakers shouldn't have let Jason Kidd go, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but in order to keep Jason, they would have had to got rid of Frank Vogel. So, you got to blame Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss for that because Jason Kidd, to me, I agree. He should have been the coach from the start regardless. But once the Lakers won the championship in the bubble, it's hard to get rid of a coach coming off of a title. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
It's like
true.
they
Yeah,
owe
that's true.
that to Frank Vogel. But the smart move would have been for them to go ahead, part ways with Frank Vogel, just like they did with Luke Walton, and bring the right person in. They didn't get Ty Lue. I thought they should have got Ty Lue, but they tried to play with Ty Lue. But Frank got it done in 2020. I felt like that championship was basically based off of the loss of Kobe Bryant and the team coming together in the bubble. But Frank got exposed starting last year, and the shit is continuing this year. And I think it's time for him to be gone. I don't think we're gonna get a trade, bro, before that Russell Westbrook is gonna be gone. I just don't see nobody wanting to play with Russ or wanting Russell on their team.
You know why I feel Frank got exposed? Because last year they had one of the best defenses in the league, which is true.
Yes.
He to me gets exposed even now because he is not good enough offensively to coach your team. He just not.
And he has defensive players and presence on the squad. You got Dwight Howard, who was a 3-time defensive player of the year. You got Avery Bradley, who was a good defender. LeBron James. Now, LeBron can't sit in the chair no more and lock you down. But LeBron is still a good defender. LeBron, still got the chase downs. He has some good pieces or players on that team, but he's just not able to get it right. How much of a loss do you think Alex Caruso was, them losing Alex Caruso?
Oh, man. You know how much was the loss was KCP?
Shit, look at Kyle Kuzma. Look at Kuz.
No. I mean, let's not start because I'm sorry to say this. Kyle Kuzma is one of them players that he can go to. He would play well if he was in Orlando, Detroit, Minnesota, any of those type of places. But if you put him in, let him come to the Knicks and see what he do. Prove it to me.
Yeah,
he's not Julius. Look, he's not Julius Randle.
That's what he's been doing. But if you put him under them bright lights, then you definitely have a problem. They used to have it. They had it where THT was untouchable. LeBron and them was really liking Tucker. But he's been struggling this year, man. Like they had an opportunity for a big trade last year, but decided to keep him. I think that kind of backfired because he's not playing good.
And you know what? I had this argument with somebody the other day about Kyle Kuzma because when AD and LeBron got hurt, you was in the starting lineup and you had plenty of opportunity to snatch a role, man.
Yes,
you had plenty of opportunity to do what you're doing in Washington right now, and you folded.
That's a fact.
So I don't understand what he's talking like. He's slick out his mouth talking about he didn't have enough time. He didn't get enough minutes. What are you talking about?
He had ample time. Time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was there with the Lakers before LeBron came.
Exactly. When they made that trade, I was like, I was hoping they kept Brandon Ingram. That's what I wanted them to keep. I didn't want him to keep Kuzma, just to be honest with you. I thought Ingram was better than him anyway.
Oh, absolutely. You mean when they got rid of him for AD?
Yeah.
Oh,
if they would
have kept Brandon Ingram and still was able to bring AD, like that would have been crazy.
But think about it. New Orleans saw what we saw. Yeah, I don't want him. We want Ingram.
But see, the Pelicans dropped the ball. They were smart short term, but long term they screwed up because they got rid of Lonzo Ball. Now Lonzo was in Chicago playing his best basketball ever. And New Orleans is struggling, bro. Zion Williamson, like they picked Zion over Ja Morant. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me started.
Zion over RJ Barrett. Let's be honest.
Yes. Even RJ doing this thing in New York, man. So there's plenty of basketball left, bro, but it's just so many storylines and so many, crazy things going on in this first couple months. But I think at the end of the day, man, Frank Vogel, his time is up, yo. His time is definitely up.
I'm telling you, that stretch of games they have coming up, at least the next 6 games, he needs to go 4-2. He has to go 4-2.
If they lose more than 2 games in this road trip, I agree. I think I'll put it like this. If they lose 2 games in a row, he's done. If they go 500 or less, he's done. But if he can come out of this with a winning record, he may be able to save his job. But they're going to have to play some real good basketball, and they don't even have a full team. AD still hurt.
I tell you, all right. The next 2 games, that's 2 wins. They need to beat Brooklyn. They need to beat Brooklyn.
Now, there's no Kevin Durant. This is 4 years now. This is 4 years now. We don't have a LeBron KD matchup. It's been 4 years.
That's crazy. It's been that long.
That's super crazy, bro.
It's crazy. It's been that long.
So if it's in Brooklyn, that means there's no Kyrie though. So we'll have no Kyrie and no Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
If they do not beat Brooklyn, yeah, you're right. You're right, bro. That's the game to watch for Frank Vogel. That's the one. That's the one.
You know the toughest game is going to be the Miami game, right?
Yeah, that's the house of horrors for LeBron. LeBron has only won, I think, maybe 2 or 3. LeBron has only won maybe a handful of games in Miami since he left. Like, even though they beat Miami in the finals 2 years ago, that was in the bubble. They didn't actually play in Miami. LeBron, he doesn't have that many wins in Miami since he left to go back to Cleveland. So, yeah, the Heat game is going to be key as well, definitely. I got the Heat in the finals. That's what my prediction was, the Lakers and the Heat to run it back.
I still think the Bucks going to come out of there and win that.
The Bucks look good, bro. You definitely, had some respect on Giannis's name, and game series.
Yeah, we Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6.
Give me LeBron and Giannis. That'd be dope. Well, D, I appreciate you, bro. About to get up out of here.
Healthy
man.
AD too. Got to be healthy. Yo, this was fun.
Without AD, bro, they going nowhere. I'm sorry. That's a fact. Appreciate you, bro. About to get up out of here.
No problem.
All righty. Salute. That was my brother Desmond in the building, man. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. I'm 7 Mitchell, man. We was live streaming on YouTube, also live streaming on Bigo. So if you guys are on Bigo, man, make sure y'all follow me at 7 Mitchell. But, pretty dope show, very interesting show. Like I said and reported, man, developing story. Frank Vogel is on the hot seat. It looks like we're looking at a day-to-day situation on if the Lakers are going to be keeping him. My brother Dez let us know about this tough road game trip that the Lakers got coming up. That's really going to decide at the end of the day whether Frank Vogel is going to remain the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So we're going to have to kick back and see. But you guys are now rocking with the best. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. About to get up out of here. Hit that like button for the kid. Y'all stay safe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. I am back and I am ready to rock and roll because, see, y'all have really stopped and put a grind in my gears right now because all of this extra, clap your hands, stomp your feet, all this love and praise that we have for Ja Morant, I'm getting sick and tired of it already. And Ja, you sticking your chest out. I'm going to have to get at Mr. Morant this morning on the Best of 7 Sports Talk. Y'all already know the vibes. Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets. I got an update as far as what the hell is going on with Kyrie and some of these home games. Is Brooklyn going to play big bank, little bank, or what? We got to get into it, man. Good morning. Welcome back. Happy New Year. It has been a minute. You guys are now rocking with the best. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. I'm 7 Mitchell, your host. As always, salute to everyone out there. Happy 2022. Before we even get started with the show, let me go ahead and put the link in the live chat. We will have open panels all day, every day here on the Best of 7. So if you guys want to come up, talk your stuff, link will be in the description. You're more than welcome to chop it up with me. Just know what you're talking about if you want to come up here and talk basketball with the kid. Let's get right into it, man. I'm not going to waste time. Let's start this thing off, man. Like I said from the start, let's talk about Mr. Ja Morant. Who the hell does Ja Morant think he is? Let's get right into it. Now, shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not going to sit up here and play this game with them this morning. Memphis has won 11 straight games, looking sharp. Now, I don't know if it's because people hate LeBron and the Lakers so much, or if they're truly happy and excited for the success that Memphis is having. But I would like to remind everyone in the National Basketball Association of one key thing. We are still in the regular season. Now, Ja Morant, I'm not going to hold you. I like Ja over Zion. I'm a fan of Ja. I see the potential. Last 8 games, Ja Morant has been balling, averaging 29 points a game, 6 boards, 6 assists. He's shooting 53% from the field, 52% from the three-point line. This is over Memphis's last 8 games. He's averaging these numbers. These guys have just won 11 in a row. Memphis has won some big games. They beat the Lakers twice. I know they beat Golden State. They beat some quality teams. But what I'm seeing here is that this whole attitude of what have you done for me lately is spilling over into now Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies being favorites to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy this year. Are you guys kidding me? Like, I got to talk to the bosses. I watched Ja Morant stick his chest out, how he did this little kid after he scored. Now, Ja Morant went crazy against Golden State. Then remember the little kid stuck his hand out, but he had on a Golden State jersey. Now, Ja Morant, I did hear that he sent the kid an autograph signed jersey and all that. But he just mean mugged this little boy. And I'm looking at Ja like, wait a minute, brother. We all seen what happened to the last Ja that stuck his chest out thinking that he was that man. Y'all remember what happened to Ja Rule? I'm not trying to play Ja Morant, but I need Ja Morant to fall back and calm down because this guy, we only in the regular season, he is showing off. I really don't understand. I am a fan of the regular season, but I'm also a bigger fan of reality. I'm about to bring my brother D Money on here. He's going to join me this morning for a couple of minutes. But before I bring him on, man, I just really need to know what the hell is going on with Ja Morant and this. I can't call it overnight success because he's been grinding. And now, you know, the grind is starting to pay off, but it's just the regular season. And the fans of the National Basketball Association, I feel, is just doing entirely too much. Great numbers he's putting up. But I'm not jacking Ja Morant right now as being some goddamn favorite or someone that is going to lead the Memphis Grizzlies to some goddamn championship. Let me explain something to you guys real quick before I bring my man D on. Do you guys know if the playoffs ended right now, Memphis would be in the playoffs? However, they would have to play the first round, I believe, against the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray playing and healthy. So you want to tell me that Memphis, as constructed, will be able to beat Denver with the reigning MVP, Jokic, beat them in a 7-game series, fine. If they advance past Denver, then they will have to battle and beat Golden State. So you're telling me that in a 7-game series now, even though John them looked sharp over Golden State the other night, they'll beat Golden State in the 7-game series in the second round of the Western Conference Finals. I mean, in the playoffs, just to then have to go to the finals and play the Phoenix Suns. So then you got Ja Morant and Memphis beating Phoenix now in the Western Conference Finals in the 7-game series, just to only have to now play Brooklyn or at least Milwaukee in the NBA Finals. I just cannot gather and understand what makes you guys think that the Memphis Grizzlies, even though they're on a hot streak right now, that they're actually